French situation was very different in the sense that they were street kids that arrived from third world countries. You know, they came by themselves, you know, and they were stuck there in this system. Many of them came from troubled countries, war situations. The one from Sierra Leone, his family just got, you know, murdered in front of him, and he just took whatever he could and, you know, left the country by any means. And he got to Paris, and, you know, so it's basically the same situation every time. You know, the girl from Ukraine was into a prostitution trap, you know.
I remember a girl, she was from Guadeloupe, or I can't remember exactly which island, but she found no job on this island, and it was very difficult for her. And she had a kid there, and because she wanted to have a better life, she let her kid to her mom, and she flew to France to find a job and to find a new life there. And this girl was quite young. I think she was about maybe 19. And she really wanted to work in France, and she just arrived when I photographed her with a French singer. And what really touched me about this girl, she had the faith. She was very religious, and because of that, she had an incredible power.
One of them came from Brazzaville. He told us stories, like he built his boat out of a tree trunk, and he managed in very astonishing ways to get out of the country. But he's an educated intellectual, and he's without papers, and he's living in the streets, and he has his very distinctive point of view of the social exclusion situation in Paris. I mean, for us, it's like an extreme change compared to the first project in Canada. It was a social-based project more than an aesthetical-based project. And we created a concept based on, you know, the locations or the ideas that these subjects triggered. The way I work today is quite different in the sense that I choose characters, I choose actors to integrate a story. In these days, the project was not about my characters, it was about their situations and some kind of a mixture of portraiture, but also in some way it had to document a reality.
My approach was quite different than Gabriel. Gabriel, I think, likes to control more the situation. I've liked the idea of having two persons and not knowing necessarily what's going to happen. So I let them a lot of liberty during the photo shoot. They were talking, and I was directing them, but slightly. I didn't want to interfere too much, to have a real emotion, to have something very spontaneous. In most of the case, the kid shows the personality with whom he wanted to be photographed. So we were not very involved in the exchange between the personality and the kid. We were more like witness.
I think that our position did not permit us to get involved in a direct way, but more in a suggestive way, in a sense that we used our medium as a photographer to create some kind of an access to the stereotypes attached to these kids. We wanted to show that things are possible. You can get out of the street. We didn't want the viewers to have pity for these kids. We wanted the viewers to have a very optimistic, you know, point of view of this situation, because if the viewers believe in this cause, then they will support it. It's very confronting to be in contact with these people, in a sense that we were not in their situation, but we could have been in their situation. It is different from going in Latin America and just seeing poverty that surrounds you.
It opened our minds.
The experience was very interesting between me and the kid, more than me and the celebrity, or sometimes even more between the kid and the celebrity and the superstar. So they were more involved in this project because of their situation and because they wanted to help in a certain way and because they felt helped by that organization, so they wanted to contribute in a certain way.
At the beginning, the first book that we did, we were more naive, and we thought that this project will change maybe the life of those kids, and we will help them a lot. But I think that the real impact was more with the public than the kid. The kid, I'm sure it opened maybe a little door. It showed the kid a new perspective of reality. Maybe it relative the fact that this superstar is a human. But I think that the real impact was more in the public, because they really see a different situation. They saw that those people they could be, these are human, they have difficulty, they can approach them. And we receive a lot of emails from people in Quebec after the publishing of the book. And a lot of young people wrote to us to tell us that they were very touched, and because of this, they began to speak with the kids in the street, and they went to them to ask them things and to talk with them. You need to be very convinced, because sometimes those projects, they are on a long term, and it's not just like a fashion thing or a head streak and you say, oh yeah, it looks cool, let's go, let's do it. No, it's a long process, and you'll have a lot of deception, a lot of no. So you need to be really convinced. And with this project, it was a deception that the book was not published, but I think that sometimes we put too much importance about the result, and we forget that the process is more important than the result, because we work so hard and we've learned so much about this reality. I think the process will mark us forever.